Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to another What's Up Wednesday 2/6/19 edition. I'll wait for some folks to get up in here, and we'll also make sure that we're loud and clear. I guess both loud and clear, so I'll wait for the comments to catch up, which are usually on about a 15-second lag. Got our official SMA cup, or at least I do.
I don't.
With some Dunkin' Donuts Keurig coffee. You're welcome to go make yourself one.
I don't sleep tonight.
Oh, I might not either. Miss Hannah stopped by for an oil change on her rig, so we got that done, and she stuck around for What's Up Wednesday. So how is loud? So far we're loud and clear. All the way in Brainbridge, New York, wherever in the thunder that is.
Is it up here like Albany?
Everything's near Albany. I always say, well, is that near Albany or is that near New York City? Because it's one of the two. Nothing's near Boca. So how is everybody doing tonight? We went from the polar vortex to an early spring. What was it? Like 15 below zero, plus the wind chill, which was like super duper below zero, whatever they say. They called it the polar vortex. People panicked. Some people died. I called it winter in upstate New York. And then miraculously, 2 days ago, it was
50, 60.
Yeah, it was almost 60. Had the doors open. Everything's melting.
It's supposed to be
flooding.
20 again on Saturday. High at 20.
Yeah, so everything is a friggin' muddy mess now. We went from 2 feet of snow to mud. So, but it's been raining pretty much all day. Shop's busier than heck. Just did the cylinder heads on a 2006, I believe it was, Jeep Commander with the big Hemi 5.7 liter. I've got that done. And now I've got a Chrysler out there with a 2.7 that sounds like a box of marbles under the hood. And then we got a Chevy Aveo over there with the big 1.6. And the timing is off 20 degrees on the intake cam. And then I've got a 2010 Chevrolet 1500 over there that has decided to eat up the number 5 exhaust lobe on the camshaft. So it is engine week at SMA. Lots of stuff going on here. And so that's where I'm at. That's what's happening here. Of course, with the mix of other stuff going on and trying to put out videos and get some stuff. Had a fantastic one in today that I should have recorded, but I didn't. And it was really cool. It was a 2006, 2007 Camry, Toyota Camry with the big 2.4 in it. And you could only drive the car 15 miles. And the guy was driving it like this for 8 months. And he shotgunned a ton of parts at it. Every possible part you could change under the hood. And long story short, it had a bad ignition coil. The IGF signal, that I got fire is what I call it. IGF signal coming out of the number 3 coil was going haywire. It would throw the ECM into a frenzy. And it didn't know when to fire the injector, so it just kiboshed him. As soon as that coil would cool down, the car would start and run. It was pretty neat. So that was it. That was a fun fix. And the best part was they were some $12 eBay ignition coils that were on there. So live and learn. And I got denied the repair on it. He did not want to put OEM coils on it, so therefore I did not get the job because I would not put aftermarket coils on a Toyota. Why? Because they leave you walking. So needless to say, he drove it back home.
15 miles?
8 miles. So yeah, he said he could do back and forth to work. He could go downtown. And that was it. That's all he could do. And been doing that for 8 months, I guess. So what makes a carbureted engine idle really high? Your right foot, typically. Or a misadjustment of some sort. I don't know. I don't even know what a carburetor is. I mean, I do, but I haven't seen one in 25 years. There's Mr. Hay. Do I have my Hayward shirt on today? Oh, I don't. I just went full black today.
I got my SMA shirt on.
SMA represent, What? The spicy Italian and henna. Jim Decker remembers that. Let's see. How'd you guys like today? Did anybody watch today's video on the Chevrolet that was running lean that came from the Chrysler dealer? Anybody see that? Carb with a high idle, high idle with a vacuum leak. Oh, okay. So they work kind of like speed density systems. Did anybody watch today's video? Anybody? Nobody.
Oh, yep.
Oh,
Now
yep.
you're good.
Good old aftermarket. The old green weenie on there, leaving that truck running lean. Of course, it wasn't the green weenies problem. And I did get a little bit of backlash because, of course, I was talking the smack about the aftermarket goodness. And of course, you know, my junk Jeep out there has piles of aftermarket goodness on it. So I'm not saying I'm a big fan of aftermarket stuff. I'm typically not, because usually when I get it in the shop, the majority of the time, not all the time, but the higher percentage of the time, somebody has aftermarket stuff, whether it be remote car starters or, you know, cold or hot air intakes, whatever you want to call them, and all this, you know, radios and DVD players. It's usually so freaking jerry rigged in there. It makes you sick to your stomach, and it gets in the way of everything you're trying to do. Hopefully at some point I make a video on my plow installation on my truck, because you can install aftermarket stuff very thoughtfully. However, it's not feasible to do in a shop. It's actually prohibitive. I mean, it took me 2 nights after work, so maybe an accumulation of, be conservative, 11 hours to install the plow in my pickup truck. When that comes into your shop and you're putting it on, you should have it in and out the door in about 2 hours. But you can do it and it works. But realistically, I did it with future repairs in mind. Oh, you know, if I run the wires through here and through this loom and like this, can I still take out my radiator? Can I still do the AC condenser? Can I still, if I have to end up doing a fuse box in the future, is anything in my way, you know? And even running the wires in the cab, you know, if I have to do a heater core and pull the instrument panel, is any of this stuff in my way? And the answer to that question right now is no. Everything is run almost like OEM would be, where it's not in the way, or if it is, you know, it has a connector. So there are ways to do it, but it just takes time. So yeah, and so Steve Perkins here, L1 Auto Diagnostics and Programming. If he plugs into a Volkswagen, so certain model Volkswagens with aftermarket radios, he can smoke his scan tool simply by plugging it in. You know, if it's wired up incorrectly, you can put in an aftermarket radio and pull down the entire, you know, data bus on the interior can, or depending on what kind of vehicle it is. There's a lot of potential problems you could have from aftermarket gizmos, we'll call them. Done properly, they can work perfectly. So there's that. We will get into mail call. I did not go get the mail today, so there's not a huge mail call, but there is a mail call. They want to know if school is going well for you, Miss Hanner.
Yep, done in May.
Should be done in May, out in the field.
And no more SMA.
No more SMA, putting in catheters and doing whatever else. I can't think what else nurses do. Take your blood pressure. I don't know what else they do.
Starting IVs.
Starting IVs.
Assessments, doing a bunch of computer crap.
Other stuff. Anyhow, let's start with this letter here. Hopefully I didn't pre-read these things too well, I don't think. So we'll start right in with mail call. Let me just give it a possible quick look for naughty words. This one comes from Tom, and he writes, I'm a new viewer, possibly trademark pun in parentheses. Love your channel. Great info, and your knowledge and thorough explanations are awesome. I'm not a mechanic, but own stuff that is either broke or ready to break. Must be a Mopar owner. You have inspired me to take on some repairs that would have been too scary for me. Please accept my thanks to your vids and a small gift. One is a leftover gag gift from Christmas. One is quite useful. You decide which one. Love always, Tom from Memphis, Tennessee. Well, thank you, Tom. We will look to see what Tom sent here. One gag gift and one useful gift. We will see which one is which.
I don't want to open the box.
I'm assuming Inspector Max here is the useful gift because it doesn't seem too gaggy. Little LED light with micro USB. Let me get the words out, get the right acronym. Charger. So a little mini inspector light. I'm probably going to stick it in my truck because that'll be super handy. And then this one must be the gag gift. It is not a bag of Crown Royal. But let's open it up and see. It's from Griot's Garage. See if I can handle this without a knife. Usually I get savage opening stuff up. Let's see. What'd you miss, JC? You didn't miss much. A little bit of babbling, a little bit of rambling. This is the genuine model of border oil cologne for smelling good for the ladies. I'm almost hesitant to even open it. I don't think it's booze.
What's it smell like?
It smells like an old man. Don't get any on you.
Doesn't even smell like motor oil. I thought it.
No, it doesn't smell like motor oil. It smells like if you had a 9-year-old bottle of Stetson kicking around. You guys remember that stuff? Anybody in here over 50 probably does. Stetson. It smells like Stetson. And it's got a little gear shift knob on the top. So that's pretty cool. I will leave that in the office and hope that none of my kids knock it off the shelf and smash it on the floor.
Then your office will smell.
Yes. Smell like old men. And maybe that's what mechanics smell like, old men. What's that cologne you're wearing? Essence of old man.
It's like your glass cleaner.
Yeah, our glass. I was just going to say the Castle glass cleaner that we have. Yeah, this stuff here. This.
Ugh.
That smells just like the cologne. It might have gotten my coffee. Castle glass cleaner, street-proof glass cleaner. Absolutely fantastic glass cleaner. Smells like an 80-year-old man. A freshly showered. I shouldn't even go there. How do you know what a freshly showered 80? Because they all smell like they're like the perfume their wife or cologne their wife got them from Avon in like a 5-gallon drum 6 years ago. Yeah, it smells like your grandpa. Yeah, see, he's got some Stetson kicking around. Everybody's got a little Stetson. I don't know, Kuba, if you smell like an old man or not. That's to be determined. I'll see you at TST. I won't be the friend who doesn't tell you, though. I'll be like, you know what, Kuba, you kind of smell like an old man. Old Spice. The only thing good about Old Spice is the commercial. I don't know. I shouldn't say. I'm not much of a perfume-wearing person. You know what I like the smell of? A good 2-stroke. Good running chainsaw. Man, it's hard to beat that smell.
I like parts cleaner.
She likes parts cleaner. I told your dad that the other day when he was here.
It's the best. I don't know.
Yeah, because I just
There's
got
something about it.
We were doing I don't know, the transmission pan and oil pan on that Dodge, and got fresh parts cleaner out there. I was like, I said, your daughter absolutely loves the smell of this thing. A little tear came to his eye. That's my girl, my baby. Anyhow, this one here is from Matt, and he writes, hope you haven't seen this before. Yes, things are bigger in Texas. How's the ice cream machine working? Enclosed as a check. Can you send me some SMA stickers? Thanks for all you do. God bless you and your family. Love always, Matt, the Brake Clean Trophy Maker. So you guys have seen my Brake Clean Trophy. Matt sent me a few bucks. I'll stick him some stickers in the mail. And then he sent me appears to be a photocopied picture of something down in Texas. And this is a couple guys playing horseshoes with giant Texas-sized horseshoes. So indeed, things are bigger in Texas. And down in Texas, if you shoot them, why, they'll shoot you back. That's what I know about Texas. So I appreciate that. I will get them stickers bundled up and in the mail for you. Mrs. Owen, rather. What?
Yuck. A colostomy bag. Oh,
A colostomy bag toss.
That's the worst.
Oh, you played that game?
Colostomy bag exploding, yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Are they on a tether so you can?
No, they're like hooked to your skin.
Oh, I'm thinking of what's the one that goes in your hoo-hoo? Goes
Catheter?
Down. Catheter. Yeah, they're on a string, right?
Yeah.
A tube. Yeah, there you go.
Slinging pee all around. First ever clinical with a colostomy.
Oh, that's got to be awesome. That'd make you want to quit your job right there. I'd be like, well, you know what? I really kind of like being a mechanic. Sticking this thing on your poop hole.
No, it goes on your belly.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's the same stuff comes out. Yes. This one comes from a guy named Brian, and he writes, and I believe this guy, I just got a text from Steve Robb. I believe this is one of Steve Robb reviews, viewers also. I know that you said you have gotten too many plates, but this one is pretty old. Please don't cut it up for the collage. On a plate site, it was explained that in 1950s, all states, provinces, went to the standard dimension. That change also had Connecticut switch to blue and white colors. This plate belonged to a family friend. He was a World War II veteran. This man was a member of the same church as my family. He was also a Grange member with my grandparents. His farm raised chickens, his farm, raised chickens, and he sold eggs and meat while my family did dairy and also vegetables. We used to stop by and help the old guy get in the firewood. I wanted to send this to you because your videos are one of the most intelligent content on the airwaves. Eric mentioned being approached for reality TV. This wouldn't work. I don't want to see him fake fighting. Hopefully a format like This Old House will come along. It seems like auto repair would be just as useful as home repair as an educational subject. Please accept this appreciation. Please accept this as appreciation. Love always, Brian. And Brian sends me a collectible 1947 plate from Connecticut before they went dimensionally the same in the 50s. So this little guy, I don't know if you can represent what it looks like, but it is about 9 1/4 by 6 on the nose. So that's pretty sweet. And I will abide by his wishes and will not chop this up because I do believe I have other full-size Connecticut plates, but this is pretty cool. This will definitely go along with all of our other sweet plates that we've acquired from Ethiopia and Tokyo and Australia and all over the world, Sweden, and we've got some super duper cool plates, Hawaii, Alaska, all the hard to get ones. So thank you for sending that. I do appreciate it. Hopefully I didn't just flash your address so you're getting mail. Oh, somebody just like, yeah, that's a random guy's address. Let's send him something. Made by inmates, it probably was. Love me some coffee. And what do we have here? Oh, this one just showed up randomly in the mail. No name, which I thought was odd. There was no name, no note. This came on the Amazon Prime. And I didn't order it. However, I got it, and I'm like, why don't I have this tool? And why didn't I know about it? Because I don't spend enough time on YouTube searching stuff. This is made by OTC. I don't know who sent it, but thank you, whoever did send it. It's a drill guide system. And I checked with OTC. They did not send it to me. So this thing is kind of universal. So you guys know that I end up, drilling a lot of stuff out, including circuit boards, which is a big no-no, as I now know from the comment section. I got beat up on that, my soldering skills and or lack thereof. So this little guy, what you do, you have these little bushings here. So, pick a size, any size. Looks like maybe, that one's probably 6 millimeter, 8 millimeter, 10 and 12. So I would say 6, 8, 10, and 12 millimeter bushings. So let's just pick one here. Let's say we have a 8 millimeter stud on your Chevrolet broken manifold bolt. You don't have the specific drill guide for that Chevy. You take this, you got 2 bolts side by side. You stick this over the good stud. You put it on the little guide here. You line up your broken hole, wherever that may be. You tighten this up, it holds it in place, and then you have a good center drill right here. And we have different bushings that go in there, different arbors for different size drill bits, from teeny tiny up to maybe 1/8 of an inch, something like that. And they thread right in here. So it's pretty slick. It's I do have the drill guide plate for the 2-valve and 3-valve Ford heads. I've got some other ones, but this is pretty good universal. Typically when a bolt is broke, there's usually something else right next to it where you could, utilize this more universal type guide system. And all of that was made up. I didn't read any directions. I'm just assuming, it actually has directions. Let me get them out. I didn't even know it had any with it. Let's just see if I'm right. 1 good stud is needed for the drill guide. Yep. Oh, and look at that. That's the perfect example they use is on an exhaust manifold. So I'll be jiggered just by looking at it. I did a good guess. Yeah, it takes away all the cussing. I don't really have much cussing drilling out holes. I've tapped me a lot of holes in my day, and have been pretty good at getting in them straight. However, you do, mess up a few here and there. Not like horrible. It's just you make more work for yourself. When I worked for my dad and we did a lot of Caterpillar engines, the studs in those manifolds broke all the time, and those were cast heads. You just take the torch and you blow that sucker out. It was, roughly 10 millimeter bolts, 10, 12 millimeter size. So like 3/8, 7/16. Just took torch, blasted them out, go in there with a little chisel and, get out all the slag, and all the threads were still there, and away you go. I did have a problem the other day. I did manifolds on a 3-valve Ford, and this was a 2006 or 7-ish, and it was the very front bolt on the passenger side, the absolute mother lover worst bolt to get to. And like a ding dong, I broke a freaking easy out in it. I couldn't believe it. I haven't broken easy out since I was nursing. It's been a long time. Broken easy out. I probably said a lot of bad, naughty words right then and there. But what I did is I broke out my rescue bit. It's a $100 3-piece set, $120 3-piece set of these carbide burrs that are super tiny, 1/8 inch, that will whittle their way through anything. And let me tell you what, I got up in there and it just made dust out of it. I went in there, it turned that easy out to dust, completely pulverized it, saved my hoo-ha in a big way. So I was happy. And long story short, I put my drill guide plate on there and I just drilled the sucker out because I was not going to take a chance again. The job turned out absolutely beautiful. But I will say this, the rescue bit saved me, but it also destroyed the rescue bit. It chewed it to pieces, it chipped, it cracked, the tip broke, but it did what it was intended to do. Would I spend $100 on another one? You betcha, because that's way easier than pulling the head. So that's a little bit of a story for you. Pass it on to your grandkids.
That's the one I was here for?
It was a black one. I don't know.
I think so.
Were you? Maybe.
Okay. There's a bunch of different broken ones.
Yes.
Yep.
Was I swearing and throwing stuff? Maybe. Not really. Probably not.
I don't think
I ever threw a fit in front of you, Hannah. I save them for when I'm by myself and I'm being a child. I've got something else really neat here, which is probably one of the neatest, not the neatest, but probably in my top 5 neatest things I've ever had given to me, which I don't know why. Again, I haven't seen one of these before. So this letter comes from Paul. Where's he from? Florida. And he writes, I recently had a good old PO 303 on my daughter's 05 Toyota Camry. I think it's Toyota. He wrote Toyota. Toyota Camry. The Yoda Camry. I started searching on the YouTube, and then I stumbled across your channel. I've been hooked ever since, binge watching your videos every single night, all day long. I added that part. As a small token of appreciation, I've included a wire spoon for your tool collection. I work in commercial aviation industry. When we're installing wiring in existing clamped up bundles, it provides a gap under the clamp to fish the new wire through. We also use it when we cut conduit or taped up wire bundles. We shove it under the tape and use the valley of the spoon as a guide path to cut the tape. I've seen you cut open wire bundles with a nick or two. I don't nick a wire, fella. I might. I'm just kidding. I probably do. I do. Okay, let's be honest. Maybe this will help you avoid having to use the liquid wire repair. Please keep posting your videos. I'll keep watching and smashing that like button. Love always, Paul. And then he says his last name. So let me show you this little fella. I have never seen one of these. You guys, every time I cut open a wiring harness, they're like, get a sewing seam ripper, you weenie. So there's my knife. It's one of my favorite ones. It's sharp. It's razor blade. You can flip it around. You can only flip it twice, but I found myself flipping it 5 or 6 times, as you know. And this is what he sent me. Simple tool. Super awesome. So let's say, for example, like we have some wire loom. Henry, in that top box over there, get that little piece I left over from your car. Let me show you how this works, fellas. Such a simple thing, and it's made by, it says Menda on it. I don't know if that means anything. All right, this is what it looks like. There's that. It's like a teardrop, a Rupert's drop looking unit. It's concaved. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Let's say I can do this infomercial style. Here's your bundle of wires on your car, 700 wires in it. You got your knife, you're like, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I just cut my hand. And Billy Mays comes on, he's like, you need this new thing. I forget what he called it. wire spoon. So this is your harness. You go in, you go right underneath it. And of course on the car it'd be easier. So you stick this, let's envision my fingers the wire. Let me get my meat nugget in here. Let's go a smaller one. My finger's the wire. This is the loom. You come in like this. You get underneath it. And then you're like, oh, I need to cut that loom open. You stick your knife in the slot. And then you work it down. What? Oh, yeah, I just opened that. What did I cut? Nothing, because your knife blade was in this little guy. Look at that. Who invented this? I hope he's on a beach somewheres. Because he deserves to be. Because that's the coolest thing ever. It just moved up in my top 3, just like that. So, yeah, that's. I think that's a great tool. I hope I don't lose it. But I'm pretty sure I could probably manufacture me one of these now. But look at that, perfect little bend, gets right in there, all scoopy like under the tape. Stick your knife in. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. You're done. So there's that. Thank you. So there's that. I'm going to set this here. I hope I don't lose that. Oh, yeah, I know, JC. That is my fear, is that I'm going to lose that and then cry because I'll be like, that thing is freaking awesome. Or it's going to come to a case where I'm like, oh, that's over on the other side. Let me just use my knife. Next thing you know, I cut a wire, and I should have just walked to get it. So thank you, Paul, for sending me something that has made the top 3 list. Not that I even have a running list, but if I did, that would definitely be up there because that is super cool. Maybe some of you folks in the aviation industry, maybe this is standard. I don't know. I don't know. It's pretty cool either way. Or maybe some of you in the manufacturing business can kick these babies out and sell them for 99 cents on Amazon and retire. Think about it. No, the spoon, I don't think, Mike, that the spoon should have a razor built into it so you can give it the classic slip down the loom. Because the fact is, I have some tools like that, some hose cutting tools and stuff that have built-in blades. And the fact of the matter is we use them until they get dull, and then we're like, well, I don't want to sharpen that because that's a pain in the butt to, get on there and sharpen that little cutter that's on there. I'd rather just use my razor blade in a guiding device. In my opinion. Eric goes, so how's the Buick coming along? I own the same exact make. Issues. That Buick is long gone. That was a week or so ago, I think. The one that we fixed, put the instrument cluster in and that kind of stuff. Can you throw it in the garbage? And did the soldering of the bulbs, which I was informed I did completely incorrectly by some pro soldering people. So I say that to say this. I'm not a professional solderer, if that's even a job title. Like, oh, what do you do? I'm a pro solderer. I don't know if those are the guys. I'm not. So I attempt to show, I think, to do a job with the tools that I have to the best of my ability, which I think anybody else attempting that job that doesn't work on PCBs, those are printed circuit boards, that's code word, for a living, I think I probably did the same type of job that any amateur printed circuit board apprentice may do without proper guidance. I could have looked on the YouTube at, hundreds of, probably thousands of different videos of guys doing it and showing how to solder wick and solder suck properly, or I could have walked my lazy butt upstairs and got the solder sucker that was sent to me. I didn't. So what I'm going to do in an effort to enhance my soldering skills is I've ordered a soldering project off the Amazon for $10. It is a solder together Christmas tree LED kit. It's 2 printed circuit boards that are in the shape of a Christmas tree, and you slip them together like this. So they're 3-dimensional, and they got a whole bunch of LEDs that you solder on, and little capacitors and little circuitry things. I don't even know what all it's made of yet. So that's it. I'm going to enhance my soldering skills. And the next time I tear something apart, you guys will be like, wow, where did you learn them soldering skills, son? At least I think that's coming. Will I make a video on putting together the Christmas tree? Probably not. I'm going to use it for practice and enhancement of the soldering skills. I've gotten reprimanded on everything from my solder type to my soldering pen type to my lack of static mat to my lack of third arm, my improper use of braided solder sucker, my mechanical solder sucker, the way my breath smells, and the shape of my fingers. Other than that, I think I did a good job making a live stream. Probably not. I can only take so much criticism. It gets to my feels. It doesn't really. I am glad that I have viewers that are so willing to offer their advice and their opinions and their expertise, because it appears that the majority of my viewers are professional printed circuit board soldering folk, at least from what I read in the comments, which I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that I lack a skill that is obviously very, very broad, and most people have the skill that I don't possess. In either case, both things that I've done that I've shown on YouTube, and these are the only ones I've shown, have been successful, and they work in the end, even though the clear lack of knowledge / skill. But it worked, so I'm okay with it. So what do you think about that? Let's see. See, that guy, he did circuit boards for IBM. Solder. Yeah, I guess. Oh, yes. And I also got criticized about the way I say it, because I call it solder. I know it has an L in it, but I think in America,
I've always heard it solder.
Solder,
No,
solder, like SODDER, solder. I'm going to solder that together. So that's what this guy says I'm hopeless. W.W. Wrenchy, Big D, I call him. He says that third time's a charm. And we're going to give a shout out to Giovanni. One of my favorite restaurants in the Hornell area is Giovanni's. A car crashed through the front of the place. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, evidently.
On purpose or?
No, I think maybe some kind of heart attack or something. Because it's right by the school. Somebody was telling me, a car crashed right through the front of the place. So.
See, there's other people saying it's solder.
Solder. Yeah, solder it. Do I wax my hat? I do not wax my hat. I think this is a wax type coating. Oh, look at that reflection of the grays. This is my freshest Jeep hat out of the Jeep hat collection, vintage. They are a waxy type stuff because, it's like that color on the inside. Smell your brim. If you can't stand it, wash it. So, but no, I don't wax them. I don't even wax my truck, let alone my hat, and it's half the size. It's Hannah, my daughter. No. Maybe. I don't know. We haven't had the DNA test done. Oh, we have one more.
Keith's daughter, maybe.
Yeah, or maybe she's Keith's daughter. She does look like Keith. Let's see here. We have one last mail call. And this one comes from Neve. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. It has an A and an M and an H in it. So I think, and she said pronounce Neve, smiley face, or a winky.
Winky.
Is that a winky? It's like one eye. It's a winky. And she writes. She wrote that. Dear Eric, we're on a mission to add bling and cheer to as many shops and garages, I think is how they say it over there, as we can. You are one of the chosen one, in quotations. Enjoy. Lots of love to you, Mrs. O, and the Chillins. Kind regards, love always, Neve. Message from the Irish government, please drink responsibly. Oops, too late. So Neve has her own YouTube channel. And they do a thing called Two Girls and a Clock. And her and one of her friends get all liquored up. And they make clocks for some of the YouTube automotive channels. And this is the SMA one that she has made. I'll put a link after this is done, unless one of the Blue Wrenchers want to go find it and link it up here. I'll make sure that I put the link. She makes some pretty funny videos, does some car repair videos. If you guys know Bodgett and Leggett videos over across the pond, she's friends with Leon over there and has the same accent, I guess. I don't know where I'm going with this, but lives over across the pond. Makes these cool videos, puts together the clock. So, which worked out great because my clock that goes in the back room no longer exists because the one in the office died, so I had to do a swapperoo, and I'm always looking at the dirty dust spot on the wall and say, where's my clock? Boom, problem solved. So thank you for that, Neve. It's a funny video. They get liquored up, they do some dancing, they make a video, or they make a clock, and then they ship it off to us. So I believe Thomas at Thomas XOVCDS also has a clock, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. So there's that. That's our mail call for this week. I'm sure there's more mail over at the post office, which I will get and just add into next week's What's Up Wednesday. We can go, if you'd like, we can go. Leon isn't bloody Irish. Well, it's only because he moved. I think if you live in a certain area long enough, Rover man, that you become that person, you know? I think. I don't know how it works. Let me recognize myself. That's how it opens up here. So we can go through some. I have the skills. I just need better guns. Guns out, sun's out. No, sun's out, guns out. That's how that goes. I don't think he's talking about them kind of guns. Let's see. Oh, no, is that the link? What link is that, Keith? Let me see. Where is it at? Yep, I believe it is. Yes, that is the right one. 2 girls, 1 clock. So Keith Perkins, L1 Automotive Diagnostics Programming, LLC. He just posted up the correct link there if you guys want to check out that video. Am I feeling good today? I am. I'm feeling much better than I was last week on What's Up Wednesday. So listen to this business. Wait till you guys see. I got some videos coming up. You're going to be like, what in the thunder's on this kid's neck? So my throat, I told you guys it was killing me last week, like insane. 8 out of 10 pain level to swallow. However, I wasn't feeling sick. I didn't have a cold, fever, none of that, no raspy voice. It just really, really hurt to swallow, and it was hurting in the back of my neck. So not being a doctor, I decided to self-diagnose and thought, you know what, you should go to the chiropractor because maybe there's some connection between your throat hole and your spine. I'm thinking there's some kind of fibrous stuff in there, locking everything together. I swallow, it tweaks my spine, and then it hurts like a banshee. So I went to the chiropractor. I told the chiropractor, and of course, they're like, yeah, come on in, we'll fix you right up. So I go there. The normal guy who runs the show he was not available, so I had the younger rookie technician lady, and they did an x-ray, said I have beautiful bones, nicely aligned, good spacing, everything mechanically looked well. However, it could be in the soft tissue, which you can't see on an x-ray. You have to have an MRI and all that. So needless to say, I was like, well, can you do, your thing, the neck crack, snap, and all that stuff. So she did all that, and neck crack, snap, paddywhack, did all that business, hurt. Now my neck is killing me on the sides. But long story short, when I get done, she wanted to do some scraping, what they call scraping. And so it's kind of like a draw file for drawing bark off a log, except it's not razor sharp. And they put coconut oil on your neck, and they do this up and down, and it supposedly does something with the silver skin, is how I would describe it, on the outer layer membrane of your meat, and it does something to unknot it, is the generic explanation I was giving. So they do that. So now, my neck hurts, and I feel like I've been scraped with an iron rod. And then after that, she did what they call cupping.
Oh, with the suction cups.
Yeah, so I didn't know what cupping was. So she comes in with these glass cups. They look like something that goes on a milk machine, right? I don't know if you guys have ever used an old milk machine, vacuum type, where you're up on the teats. So it looks like that. So she does it on my neck, kind of up, kind of high. Miss Hanner?
I was wondering what those were.
And you didn't like, man, what are you getting frisky? I'm freaking 40 years old, Hannah. I don't do hickeys. Okay, you see something like that, ask me, like, what the hell's wrong with your neck? So this girl puts these things on my neck, up here and over here, and down my spine, and gives me the old suck job. And it's not hickey purple, it's like black.
It's purple.
Hannah, that is over a week old.
It's purple now.
It's purple now. It looked like this 3 days ago. She put about 28 inches of vacuum, 1 atmosphere on my neck, and I'm like, that hurts. So she backed it off a couple pegs. Give the things, they're on my back. She's like, kept doing that. I'm like, I don't know what that does. Maybe the blood's going to explode into the cup. Needless to say, I got them off and left. My throat still hurt. I still couldn't swallow. Now both sides of my neck hurt, and I got in a makeout jam with, Angelina Jolie. So I had to come back, see Mrs. O. She's like, oh, I saw this girl named Brittany. Now I smell like coconut, and my whole neck is like purple. So, well, how was it? I'm like, obviously pretty good. So that's that. That was my chiropractic experience. So long story short, there's going to be a couple videos coming out where I reach in front of the camera and you guys are going to see these giant purple spotches on the back of my neck. It should bring some good laughs, I'm thinking, or at least a very colorful comment section.
Especially for the people that didn't watch tonight.
Yeah, and if you didn't watch tonight, which you won't be hearing this now, I'm sure I'm probably going to have to put some kind of disclaimer, but I would hope that you would at least look at it and say, like, I've had a hickey. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is what you're going to say to yourself. Like, I've had a hickey. They're usually odd shaped, like football shaped, so to speak. These are perfectly round. So give that some thought. So that's it. In either case, the throat swallowing issue has resolved itself through good vibes, I'm guessing. I didn't put out a good vibe request on Facebook, but in either case, it's gone. So perhaps donuts, coffee, and other bad choices have helped alleviate that pain.
I was thinking maybe like something dropped on you or something.
Nope, it is not the classic. You go home, you got a hickey here. Your dad's like, hey, what happened? Is that a muffler burn? Wink, wink. You're like, yeah, Dad, it's a muffler burn. Wink, wink.
I loved all the girls that were hiding them in school, and they'd like wear a scarf.
Yeah, like.
And try and like constantly have to move it. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
Never had one.
Never had one?
Never had
Go to the chiropractor, you'll get some.
Yeah.
You'll be super impressed. And you're like.
I like seeing the big guy though. I like seeing the real one.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back and see him, see if he can't straighten out my neck. Like, I don't know what she did. She cracked it though. Oh yeah, speaking of running low on brake clean, don't mean to keep changing subjects. There's going to be a little bit of an emotional time in an upcoming video to know that the brake cleaner flavor at SMA, now you guys are going to be the first ones to hear this, has changed. I'll let that soak in for a minute. It has not left the building like Elvis. However, the Wherever brand is no ever here. I can't think of something that rhymes with that. The Wherever brand is long gone. My stockpile of Wherever has since run out. And now, because we are the official Napper Auto Care Center, we do have some Napper brand, CRC. Non-chlorinated, but less than 45% volatile organic chemicals, VOC. And there it is. I'm buying it for the same price, the same size can, the 14-ounce canners. But this stuff must have about 8,000 PSI of pressure in the can because you push the trigger and about 3 seconds later, the can's empty and everything in the shop is wet and it smells amazing. I don't know what they charge these cans with, but it's like, you got to two-hand the cans because it's got a lot of, I think you could launch a space shuttle with those.
Does it smell the same as the other stuff?
It smells, yeah, watch this. So I don't, get it? Yeah, you can, get a little off the straw.
It smells like
it's a little different, different, but still, nonetheless, good, effective, completely bad for the environment, your health, your skin, and anything plastic you get it on. Other than that, it's great, and you can do fires with it. You can do flamethrowers. You can use it for like
killing spiders. Remember that one time we lit it on fire?
There could be some spider-loving folk in here. I know nothing of what you're speaking of, Hannah. However, the red stuff's much better. Now, see, I thought the red stuff sucked. I thought the red stuff was I don't like the chlorinated. It's poison. Do they make a red can non-chlorinated? I'm just curious. I could probably Google this. Let's see. Somebody will say red stuff's chlorinated. That's what I thought. I don't like the red stuff because like you spray it on and it's slimy and it stinks to beat the band. And if you use something with the torch and you get the red stuff on it, it makes some kind of poisonous gas that evidently kills you. So yeah, I can't remember what it is. It's like, yeah, the red can's chlorinated. That's what I thought. What do you think, Schmitty? Are you a red can man? I'm not a red can man. I'm like the green can CRC. Non-chlorinated wherever has always been fantastic. So let's see. The green sets things on fire is just as good. Yeah, and it's safer. So yes, phosphine gas is what you get from chlorinated. Yeah, the red cleaner doesn't evaporate enough. That's what I'm talking about, Schmitty. Us rust belters got to stick together. I don't know if that's our official sign, but we'll go with it for right now. Yeah, red can, lethal if burned. See, all the blue wrenchers are like, no red can, you weirdos. So no red can. No red can for me. I would say if I was in the DIY industry and didn't have a parts cleaner, I would agree that the red can is kind of nice because I can spray it, I can work it, with a toothbrush or whatever. I can work it around and it doesn't evaporate. Then I can, give it a full douche, but it stinks to beat the band. If I am in that situation where I need that, like at the car, I have a product made by Castle called Shop Solve, and that's what I use as a spray. Sticks around longer, no residue. Never been a big red canner. So, yeah, so Keith knows 3 multi-syllable words that says when it's vaporized, it's sketchy, and that's all I need to know. If he's like, yeah, that MAK, that stuff is sketchy, I'll be like, all right, dude, I'm never going to use it again. And I like stuff that burns. I know they made a non-flammable brake clean, like down where Keith DeFazio down in Staten Island. They have to use all this environmentally friendly, like, oh, you can't use the stuff that burns. So I may or may not have smuggled them a can or 2 of the burnable stuff. I don't know nothing. So that's that. So I've got out the old tablet here, and we're going to read a couple of the emails. We'll go through this. This one comes from Scott. And he writes, Dear Dr. O, a.k.a. the Avoca BA. BA is an acronym for bad hoo-ha. Which I don't consider myself, but that's what he wrote. Please tell the people what brand of retina-burning reverse light bulbs you put in your Tundra. My truck is in desperate need of an upgrade. Love always, your friend from Dirty Jersey, Scott D. I did not make up the Dirty Jersey part. He did that to himself. Well, Scott D, the brand bulbs I use are JDM A-Star. You can get them on the Amazon. They make, in my opinion, a pretty decent LED bulb. They're going to cost you more than most LED bulbs, but they will scorch your retinas right out of your, wherever the retina attaches to. Help me out here.
Your retina's in your eye.
Your cornea. It'll burn the retina clear off your cornea and shrivel up your lenses. I don't know.
Good.
Yeah, so JDM A-Star. So it's JDM, like John Delta Mike, and then A-Star, all one word. Google them, LEDs. You'll find them on the Amazon. My 921s, I think, were like $15, something like that. They're a cob with a little projector LED in the end. Fantastic. Let's see. This next one comes from a guy named Daryl. Daryl must be from New York. I know a lot of Daryls here. Hi, Eric. Regarding fuel trims, on the scan tool showing a very erratic graph on the O2 sensor indicates a wonky sensor. Do you go strictly by voltage output? I assume that's a question. I have one sensor which puts out consistent graph pattern upstream, but sensor 2 downstream is an erratic graph. 2008 Buick LaCrosse 3.8. So I think there may be some confusion here, Daryl. First of all, it depends on what scan tool you're using and its update rate, its sample rate, as to what it takes from the vehicle, the raw data. So this is the voltage being put into the ECM from the O2 sensor, its switch count or whatever that is, twice per second, 5 times per second, whatever its switch ratio is. When it goes to your scan tool, it becomes process data. So your scan tool is only going to display it however fast it can process it, which depending on the scan tool, sometimes Well, it's pretty choppy. I've shown videos, and others on here have shown videos that displays the difference between process data and raw data. The other thing I see here is that you're trying to compare an upstream oxygen sensor with a downstream oxygen sensor. On your 2008 LaCrosse, if your downstream O2 sensor is relatively steady, I'm just going to assume that your catalytic converter is doing its job. Go watch some videos on that, perhaps compare upstream versus downstream O2 sensors. I don't know if there's videos specifically like that, but you would try to look for videos that say something like diagnosing catalytic converters, you know, PO420, PO430. Some catalytic converters use what they call index switch ratio, where they monitor the upstream switch rate of the O2 sensor compared to the downstream, which is typically pretty steady if the catalytic converter is working. Some work on what they call oxygen storage capacity, which works differently. But looking at those videos, I'm hoping that you will see the difference between upstream switch ratio versus downstream on a good working system. I probably went way too far with that, but I hope it helps. Let's see. This one's from Steve-O. Not Steve-O from Jackass, just a guy named Steve. And he writes, "Dear Eric, thanks for your channel. I've learned a lot and look forward to future videos. My wife also watches and loves to see Mrs. O and the kids. My question," here's the question. "If a shop was to only have one scanner, which one would you suggest? Right now I have a used older Veris and use a lab scope as well as a scan function. Love always, Steve," from NC, which is North Carolina. That is a tough question, Steve. You have the old Veris, which I would always keep for a lab scope. Never get rid of that tool because you have a lab scope now, regardless of the scanner functions of the tool. You have a decent lab scope. If I had to just buy one, you put me in a tough spot. You back me into a corner. Right now, I have really been fancying my Bosch ADS 625. I guess I'll put it to you this way. If I had a shop and I didn't have factory service info, let's say I didn't have Mitchell on Demand, I didn't have all data, I didn't have Identifix, I would really be leaning towards the Bosch ADS 625 because you've got built-in factory wire diagrams, you have built-in repair information through motor. They're going to set you back about $5,000, so it's going to be about half the price of Snap-on, or less than half the price. It's going to give you a good scan tool with U.S. support, made in America, right here, U.S. of A. That's where the baby's out of, I'm pretty sure. At least you're going to have support here in America. You're also going to have wire diagrams, you're going to have service information, and you're going to have a J2534 programming interface that comes with the tool, the VCI module. That's my final answer. I'm going to stop talking right there. But keep your lab scope. Now I'm done talking officially. Let's see where we're at here. Let me hit delete. You've been deleted. This one comes from Bill. He must be from America too. No, not Bill's. Let's see. And he writes, "Dear Eric, I've watched your YouTube videos on changing out exhaust manifold a couple times. What would your recommendation be for, what would be your recommendation for a replace on a 2010 Ford F-150, 4x2, 4.6, 3-valve. I don't think it's something I can tackle myself, but I would like to buy quality parts and have them replaced. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Love always, Bill." Well, Bill, I would say if you have even a shadow of a doubt that you can't handle that job, don't do it. A lot of times, more often than not, I say if I can do it, you can do it, which is true. These things are a mother lover. I freaking hate that new body style Ford, that 04 up, not the 04 Heritage. I'm loving them. The newer body style, let's say 05 up, they suck. That's just the bottom line. They suck because they come here and they're rusty. All freaking bolts are broke. You got no room to work. And you jack up the engine. They're doable, but they take me all day. It takes me 10 hours to do both sides, including all the broken bolts. So I would say that they're awful. Feasible, but awful. If I was you, I would go, find a reputable shop, have them look at it first, give you an assessment, how many bolts are broken, which ones are they going to be easy ones to get to. And then I would recommend, if you need manifolds and studs and nuts and gaskets and all that stuff, and EGR tube and dipstick tube, which, you know, typically we need here. OEM only. Don't mess with the Dorman garbage. These things suck bad enough as it is, besides using junk parts. So that would be my suggestion to you if you're watching. Bill. Anybody else have anything to say about that? Motor sits too low in the frame. That's right, JC. And Ford, being a truck, they put struts on the front, and I will call her back. So yeah, the strut tower on the new Fords is like this wide and loops way around. You're like, oh yeah, I can see the rear stud that's down there. You spend most of your time just hugging the engine. If you need manifolds, yeah, JC, Ford guy, he even got the joke. If you need them, no, it's when you need them, because every Ford needs manifolds. The F1 sissy. It's coming right from a hardcore Ford man. He's only like F350 and up. Get stainless headers. I would highly disagree with that. I did a set of, I don't even remember what brand, but they were stainless steel headers. Guy's going to solve the world's problem with these. Brought me an 06 F-150, installed his all stainless steel headers, the special gaskets that came with them. They sucked. I turned around more than once to flip that truck the finger. Got the job done. No broken bolts. You know, everything went well. But you got these stupid headers that twist and loop around like a bunch of freaking curly cues coming down these things. Getting all the bolts in, everything tightened up. That thing was nothing but a disaster. It was perfect when it left, and it was perfect for, I don't know, a couple months. And then, you know, now his headers start leaking and the gaskets start leaking, and then you take them out, you know, new gas. It's just a constant battle. I hate headers. I like them on like a, you know, Chevy small block where you can just reach down like, oh, let me tighten these up. You're good. F-150, you're like, oh, here, I got a spare 9 hours. Let me snug up them bolts for you. Anyhow, where are we at? Got another one here from Kyle. Whoa, that's a long one. I'm not going to read the whole thing. However, Kyle, I have read it. And this was for What's Up Wednesday. Long story short, he has a Cobalt front disc rear drum. He had a, where is it at here? Let me read to this, whip it through real quick. He says, long story, but keep it short. He had a leaking rear wheel center on one of the drums in the rear at the time. He replaced the drums, shoes, cylinders, and hardware. Since then, he's had a low brake pedal. That's where I put the brakes on right there. No pun intended. Get it? After that, he's had a low pedal. He's done every bleed technique known to man. Every, you know, from pressure bleeding to man, giving it the suck on the brake bleeder nipples, the one-way check valves. He's done everything. And then he's gone through and replaced everything else. The front master or the front calipers and hoses and, you know, the whole shebang. And he talks about how he goes through and clamps off hoses and that and gets a stiffer pedal. Here's what I would say, sir. The problem started after you changed the rear wheel cylinders. The car has a lot of miles on it. It's got a $160 on it. It's typically what happens. Now, I've seen this time and time again, regardless of the fact that you can clamp off the front and make the pedal stiff. Guy comes in, it's got a bad rear wheel cylinder, and you put a new one in. You get it all done. You go to bleed the brakes. Somebody helps you. The car's been running. It's been now shut off. So you have full vacuum in the brake booster. Hannah, what's the rule when you're on the lift and I say, push the pedal down, but only
halfway?
Only push it halfway. Why?
Because it pushes all that crap.
You get all that crap stuck in the master cylinder bore. And for whatever reason, if you go all the way to the floor with, you know, vacuum boost still in the booster, about 1 out of 30 times, you're going to have a low pedal and you're going to have to put a master cylinder on it, period. Now, when you clamp off the front hoses, you have a decent pedal. Well, the fact of the matter is your wheel cylinder bores are very small. What are they? Maybe 7/8 bores on there. So you're only displacing a very tiny amount of fluid. Now, when you're pushing in your front calipers, you know, what do you have, like a 2.5 inch, 3-inch bore? You know, you're displacing a lot more fluid. In my opinion, you have a bad master cylinder, even though you don't have the classic, you know, pedal fade master cylinder symptom. In my opinion, if it was me and that was my car and it was in my shop and knowing what you've done, and the fact of the matter is it's about the only part you haven't changed, I'd put a master cylinder on it. I won't get into it too deep, but if you're ever bleeding brakes, only push the pedal about halfway until the reservoir has been depleted in the brake booster to keep you from overextending into the master cylinder. If that makes sense. It's probably not on an ASE test, so you don't even have to listen to that. But that is my habit. As a matter of fact, Honda has actually had service bulletins on this because so many master cylinders were getting sent back under warranty because they do a bleed job. A guy full stroked it, and now she's junk. So keep that in mind. Big Clive is the Bob Ross of soldering. Did you know Bob Ross was a drill sergeant in the Army? In the Army or the Marines? You wouldn't think, you know, looking at him. Mike Rowe did a fantastic write-up on him. Anyways. You would definitely not suspect the master cylinder. I 100% suspect the master cylinder, John, in my opinion. So, yep. That is, hey, there's Big Clive Live right there. There's Big Clive. Big Clive, not Big Clive Live. I always freaking mess it up, and I feel like a jerkhole when I do. BigClive.com, the soldering master out there. Yeah, that's how I heard it. Yeah, Rust Belt Mechanics. And Mike Rowe did it on That's How I Heard It. Fantastic. I would love to. Mike Rowe is on my bucket list. My life would be complete if I could meet Mike Rowe. So if any of you have his contact information, I would just like to do a show with him and just crack smart-ass comments with him. He's obviously highly educated. He's very well-spoken and is incredibly funny. I love what he does and just a great guy. So, no, you know, you get it. You know where I'm at. Do you agree? Do you like Mike Rowe? Dirty Jobs, Mike Rowe. Yeah, love that guy. Love that guy. I'd actually give him a bro hug. Not really. I'd shake his hand, though. Probably wouldn't go in for a hug. Let's see. This one here, who's this coming from? This comes from a guy named Pete, also American, must be. I don't know. Pete could be a very universal Christian name. Peter. So that could be across the pond. Let's see. Nope. Hello from just north of Binghamton, New York. Just up the road. I've got a 2018. Why you even rate me if you got 2018? 2018 Nissan Titan XD for extra. What says the extra dope? With the big 5.6 gas engine with only 6,000 miles on it. I'm having an issue with my supply or high pressure fuel pump, and my dealer is giving me the runaround. It has lost power and surges and struggles. I plug my scan tool in at an idle 575 RPMs. The commanded fuel pressure is 429. The actual at the rail is 375 PSI. The fuel trims on bank 1 are negative 3.1 and plus 10.3, and bank 2 total fuel trim, I'll do the math for you, ends up being about 7%. So that sounds like it's in fuel control. When I hold the RPMs at 1500, commanded pressure stays at 429 and actually rises a little to about 390. Fuel trims change to roughly 4% total correction. In other words, actual rail pressure is always lower than commanded rail pressure, and trims bounce all over. Do any of these numbers raise a red flag to you? Should I force the dealer to dive deeper into the fuel system? Love always, Pete. I don't know how to address this, Pete. So never having seen nor worked on one of these, I do not know if desired versus actual is a very exact data pid to be looking at. Most cars, they are. Your truck is clearly well within fuel control. You know, having your fuel trims at a total correction of 7% average at an idle and, 4% average at 1500 RPMs, no load. I wouldn't get too excited about that. What I would do if I was you and I wanted to answer this question, I'd go to the dealer, maybe a different dealer, because if they know you or if the salesman knows you, and I probably wouldn't drive my 2018 Nissan Titan XD, but I'd go to a dealer and say, hey, I'm interested in that 2018 Nissan Titan XD that you have over on the lot. And I've got lots of money and I want to buy it today. And they'd say, what do you want to drive it? You'd be like, yeah, I want to drive it. Me and my wife will take it for a drive. So you hop in the car with your wife, you go for a drive, and in your wife's purse, because this is where this whole plan comes together. In your wife's purse, next to the Kleenex, the 3-week food supply, the water bottles, the medicine, the wet wipes, what else do they have in their purses? Pretty much everything necessary to survive in a zombie apocalypse is going to be your scan tool. And you're going to get away from the dealership And then you're going to pull over into the gas station. You're going to plug in your scan tool, and you're going to look on that brand new 2018 that you are test driving with the intention to buy. You're going to plug into it, and you're going to get this data, because that's the only way to answer this question, is to go and pose. You're going to have to go lie and bring your wife and her purse and your scan tool, and you will probably answer your own question. If you plug into that and you're seeing that commanded and actual is always right on the money, 429 commanded versus 429 at the rail, then you'll know. And I think that's the only way to solve that problem. So hopefully that helps.
You're sneaky.
Yeah, that's what you got to do, Hannah. You should see what Keith does to rent-a-cars. I don't even want to tell you. I'm ashamed to even know him sometimes. He's like, hey, let's go get this rent-a-car and do a bunch of cool tests on it. No, he doesn't. No, I'm just kidding, folks. No, yes, he does. Occasionally. Sometimes. He's not invasive. But sometimes rental cars are the experiments of some mechanics. Not myself, but I know people, if you know what I'm saying. So there's that. I'm sure nobody else here knows anything about it. So that's it. That's all there is for the emails. We'll, if you want to send an email to What's Up Wednesday, perhaps have your letter read online or answer your question, which I can't answer them all, but I do look at most of them. Just so you know, what do I do here? Let me shut off this newfangled machine. Microsoft Surface Pro. Neat little deal. You have to put about $100 case on it. The only downside is, in the shop, the keyboards are magnetic. So they get a lot of schmutz from the air, because I have a lot of magnetic dust flakes in the air. So you kind of got to wipe the dust off them, the magnetic. Someday it's going to short out and not work, and I will cry, because I like this little guy. But back to what I was talking about, SMA W.U.W at Outlook.com. So it's Self-Main Auto. What's Up Wednesday at Outlook.com. SMA W.U.W at Outlook.com. Maybe I can type that in for you. I think the 1 week I did it wrong. I think I gave you guys the complete wrong address. At the Outlook, fingers.com. What I'll do is we'll go like this. I need a keyboard condom there, or the keyboards are like $4. Oh yeah, there it is. So they're
dominating the chat.
Dominating the chat. I'm one of those guys. Yeah, Big Clive, I have looked into mechanic-proof tablets. So you have your classic Tough Book. Those things are hella expensive. They are thousands of dollars. So what I do is I buy like $300 laptops, and if I break it, it's broke, and it's only $300, and they last for years. I'm not saying like I'm breaking one every week and just pissing away $300. It's it lasts a long time, but the fact of the matter is, after a couple of years, if it breaks, then you're like, well, whatever. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Of course, the Surface Pros, they cost a lot more money than that, but I like it because it's wicked handy. They're super small, tablet-based, touch screen. I can mess it all up really quick. I can get to the blue lock screen a lot faster than I can one with just a keyboard, and make everything stop working much faster. Where are we at here? So we'll read a couple of these things. We'll go for another 50. You got 15 more minutes?
I got 15
We'll do
more
15 more minutes, and then get a used Tough Book. So I have bought used Tough Books in the past, but they're relics. I mean, I'm talking like Windows 98. You see them as guys like, yeah, I got a used Tough Book. It's completely primitive, like, a half a gigabyte of hard drive space and no RAM, and Windows 95 or Windows 3.1. I've never really found a good deal on a used Tough Book. I wouldn't mind spending, $800 on a Tough Book, or $800 to $1,000. I would think would be feasible for something that is, tough and bookish. Anywho,
I can give you my textbooks. They're tough.
They're tough and bookish.
They're bookish.
Yeah. Yeah. And most of the ones that I found are pretty well hammered. You know, they've been like, what do I want to say? Like riding around in cop cars, stuff like that. Highly worn, you know, pretty well hammered. What's my favorite Chevy small block? What's my favorite Chevy small block? I wouldn't be American if I didn't say the 350. All right. You can go on a tangent from there, like, well, I'm a big fan of the 302 Chevy. Remember that? You know, most guys won't. Then you're fighting like, that's a Ford engine. No, that's a Chevy engine. Chevy small block, the 350. I mean, right there. 5.7 liter Chevy Thunder. That is my favorite Chevy small block. That's the American answer. You should ask like any boy you consider dating. That should be like the question he gets asked. Be like, oh boy, whatever his name is.
Oh boy.
What's your favorite Chevy small block? If he's like, what's a small block? You just be like, and then go find a new boyfriend. A 383 stroker. You can't build a 383 stroker without a 350. So you go back to the base, okay? I knew somebody's going to bring up the 383. Anywho, because what are they? They're just a 350 with a 400 crank, 4-inch bore. I had a stroker. I had built a stroker motor for my one Jeep I had. That thing was mean, lumpy, 4,000 RPM stall. It was awesome trying to take off from red lights. He sounded like a real jerk, but it was really fun when you're a young buck. Now they're all on their tangents of what engine's the best. Yep. Yeah, you got to start somewhere. Some guys are 400 small block. Or wait a minute, I probably should have said, if I'm really American, I guess if I had this tattooed on my arm, I should have properly said 350 Chevy 4-bolt main, because you got to throw in that 4-bolt main part. Otherwise, people are like, is he a weenie? Is he an old 2-bolt guy? You know, and then you're like, no, he's a 4-bolt main pre-79 driver's side dipstick. Huh? You probably didn't think I even knew that, did you?
That's what Ben would say. I don't know about the size.
5'9" Cummins? He's one of them guys. I would seriously consider stop dating him. And let me guess. So he's about a 5'9" Cummins, and he probably talks about, I don't even know the kid, he probably talks about putting a BT in something. Well, I got to be a BT Cummins. I think that's what they call them. The little 4-cylinder Cummins they put in everything. Have you heard them words?
I have.
I knew it. Take this with you. Spray this directly into his eyes.
It is all of his food.
Yes. 4BT. There it is. Yeah. 4BT. I got a 4BT. I'm going to put a 4BT in my snowmobile. I'm going to put a 4BT in my Jeep. I'm going to put a 4BT for... Hey, 4BT guys.
Don't they get like 60 miles a gallon?
I don't know. They think
I think that's
they think Jesus himself came from heaven and made this 4BT.
I think he got one actually.
From Jesus?
Oh.
From
a bread truck somewhere out
Probably.
in like Massachusetts or something.
Probably. 1-843-6572. That is your classic Mopar.
Hey, I could have told you that.
Hey, don't you say what that number means.
I just know it.
They'll be trying to break into my inspection machine. Hannah made me some cookies.
Eric broke the bag.
Hannah broke the bag. 6.5 turbo diesel. That is like the biggest turd GM ever made, next to the 6.2 liter. Them 6.5s, they were garbage when they were new. I used to love those things coming into the shop. I did so much work on those.
Look at that thing just going now.
1-843-6572. Yes, that is the firing order on a Dodge 5.9, 5.2, Chevy 5.7, 5.0, 5.3. Well, not the newer ones, but that's your Chevy firing order right there. I should have that tattooed. 1-843-6572. The old 5.7 diesel. I went to school with a kid, lots of kids, but this one kid in particular, his name was Corey. He had an old station wagon that had the diesel on it. Didn't last long at all, probably because we did childlike things with it. Yep. 8675309. That is the firing order for Jenny. Jenny. You know Jenny. That's your firing order. Well, there goes Ricky's safe combination. And probably most American men, Chevy loving guys, password to their Facebook or something. Who knows? Or to their email or whatever you put passwords on nowadays.
A computer.
Bank account information. I don't know. Yep. You missed the slant six motors like the old side hill Hemi. Is that what we used to call them in the old Chryslers? Keith Perkins is his Wi-Fi password. Oh my gosh. Everybody's going to get broke into that's in this chat because we just found out every Chevy guy's password. What else we got here? We're coming up on the golden hour.
9 minutes.
9 minutes. The number one most common password is password, all caps locks. Or if you're a Chevy guy, it's 1-843-65572. Or if you're a Chevy 4.3 guy, it's 654-321. Oh, what kind of cookies? They're butterscotch. I'm sorry for eating in front of you and not telling you what I'm eating. Butterscotch cookies, homemade. The 3800 Super, the old 231 engine, 231 cubic inches, 3.8 liters with a blower. The only thing that did is make them leak oil faster. 1342, common 4-cylinder firing order.
Now it's all this chat's going to be about.
Yep. What do we got here? Everybody's all pumped up about engines now. They're all reliving their childhood, just like we all do. Like, yep.
That guy wants to know if you're going to give me a cookie.
No, I just ate them all. I ate every single one of them. There was 4 of them in there.
I have a whole container of them at home.
That was my dinner.
I only gave you 4 though.
That's all I needed. Because I'll go into diabetic shock here soon.
Diabetic ketoacidosis.
Yeah, that. John, the plow guy, says he got over 600,000 miles out of his 5.4 Econoline. That's kilometers, John. You're from Canada. Clearly. He is, too. He's totally Canadian. I've seen him. He even talks Canadian. Where is he?
Right there.
I don't believe you, John. Not calling you. 600,000 miles on an original 5.4. Look me in the eyes. Oh, I don't want to hear it, JC.
Ooh, ice cream.
Yeah.
Let's go to
There is no place open.
That doesn't dip. Oh, that's.
They're probably closed.
They close at 8 during winter.
Dippity doo dah.
10 to 8, I think, is their hours. And they close on Sunday, Monday.
Mukbang. Do you know that a mukbang is when you eat doing a live stream? Technically speaking, that makes What's Up Wednesday a mukbang. I hope that's not a really naughty word I'm saying that I really don't know the meaning for. I'm going to trust Clive that he wouldn't put me in that awkward situation. Anywho, how do you ask questions on Super Chat? We did away with the Super Chat, Robert, because it seemed to distract from the normal BS session that we would have of relaxation, reading letters, and stuff like that. So we just turned that option off. I think that was, we took a vote. This is a, what is that? Is it a Democratic Society? I don't know. We're
we take a vote, yeah.
We're Democrats, right? Is that a good thing to say? We take votes. We take votes, and we voted. And the never trust Big Clive coming from Big Clive. I'll keep that in mind. We just got boom, Joe's Auto Electric. It's funny because people will write stuff like that, and they don't realize that nobody can see it but themselves. Hey, Ron, he wrote F you, and nobody can see it, and then Joe's Auto Electric goes and like deletes them, puts them in timeout, and gonna ban them from the channel permanently. That's fantastic. democratically decided, yes. It was the unanimous decision put up for vote to the people. And they voted to not do Super Chat, so we stuck with it. Oh, wait a minute, John said something. I can tell you stories of my 5'4", it would make your hair go gray. Well, John, I think we've already talked a time or two, or I've seen a few 5'4s, or have children. And my hair is already gray. John's hair is pretty gray also. Yeah, glad you ditched the Super Chat. It's more balanced. You can do a dedicated hit me with your problem Super Chat. That's pretty tough, Clive. You're a highly intelligent person, and you know your trade very well. It's very obvious in your videos. I, on the other hand, do not. So I feel that when people Super Chat me in hopes and looking for an answer, if I can't provide that answer immediately with the information provided, then I feel guilty, because let's say somebody threw you a 20 spot and said, hey, my car shakes. Okay, where do you go with that? Or like, here's $10. I have this code, what's wrong? A lot of these problems can't be hatched out over a live stream where there's a couple thousand people. There's a lot of chitter chatter going on. In order to help solve somebody's problem, I would need to be able to interact with the person and say, okay, well, have you considered this? Have you tried this? Or what's this data say? Or, what tests have you done? A lot of times in the Super Chat box, it's just like, here's my code. I've changed this part. What do you think it is? If I had a crystal ball or a wand from Harry Potter where I could expecto patronum and send the answer, I certainly would. Until then, I think we'll keep the Super Chat turned off. Yeah, well, I don't want to just take their money, Clive. I have to sleep at night, and that's, I guess, just personal preference. But I see I'm picking up what you're putting down, you know what I mean? I'm smelling what you're stepping in, but that's just my personal preference. So yeah, I guess that's it. SMA meetup this summer. Well, we're all going down to TST seminars in Tarrytown, New York, March 30th. So down in New York City, where they make salsa. I've seen that on a TV commercial. They really make salsa in Texas and Mexico. But remember that commercial? The guy's like, that salsa, where's that made? New York City. Remember that commercial? It was like for paste picani salsa made in Mexico or something. I don't know. Or maybe it's made in Texas. Everything's bigger. Anyhow, we'll all be down there. There's going to be myself, Joe from Joe's Auto Electric, Cuba from the Cuba Rodriguez, who just put the little thing up here on the screen, Keith, Oz from Oz Star Mechanics, Steve from Simply Diagnostics, coming from across the pond. Love that guy. He is, you got that friend, he's got the look on his face like somebody just told him a dirty joke and he really wants to tell you, but he can't. That's what Steve, I look at the guy, it cracks me up. Love it. Keith Perkins is going to be there from L1 Auto Diagnostics and Programming Limited Liability Corporation. He'll be there. Corey from S&A Auto will be there. And about 50 other YouTubers.
Will Hanner be there?
Well, Hanner
should be there.
Hanner will not be there.
I'll take off school that day.
We don't need all the weirdos following us down. There is going to be a lot of folk there from the YouTube automotive community. Probably, in my guess, upwards, I think when I was talking to Keith, like 100 people in our social circle of people between Facebook and YouTube. So yeah, that's it. We're going to be down there. TST seminars. Check it out. You go, you get a free tablet, and you get some training, and you get to social hobnob, rub shoulders with other dudes. That's weird. So we'll be staying down there.
Joe.
I thought you were going, Joe. You can't make it. Is it because of work? Because I think we're all going to Joe's on that Sunday or something. Joe, give me an answer. Send me a text and let me know why you are not going. if it's none of my business, don't tell me. If it is for financial reasons, please tell me that also. And or if something, just I'd like to know. Oh, you're working? You can't take the day off at all, Joe? Oh gosh. Joe's over in Jersey. Has to work like a banshee for rent and all that stuff. All right, well, if that's the only reason, Joe, that's all I want to know. Will Eric the Car Guy be there? I don't think that's his type of gig. To be honest with you, it's not a YouTuber meetup, so it's automotive training. It's a huge training event put on TST Seminars, who does training year round down there near Terrytown. This is just their big event. Hundreds of people go to it. I don't believe. Flat rate master, he will be there. Mike. Oh, gosh, there's a lot of people going. In either case, it's not. I don't think it's like something that Eric the Car Guy does, not actively working, in a shop or on cars. So it may be, it's just not like his type of deal, or Scotty Kilmer. Not comparing Eric the Car Guy to Scotty Kilmer. I'm just saying this is more like professional automotive technicians. I hate that label. Anyhow, mechanics, people who fix cars. Leave it at that. Work in shops. So no, in that case, Chris Fix will not be there, or Kilmer, or Eric the Car Guy. Who knows? Maybe they'll all show up. I don't know. We're 1 minute past the deadline, so I got to stop reading these. What's the cost of it? I think it's 100 and I don't know. The motel, you got to stay at a motel a couple of days. That's like 100 and something a night. I don't know. I think the seminar is 185, 155. It depends on if you're a member or a non-member of TST. You can go on their website, the TST Big Event. Google that, you'll find it. And you can, if you're going, sign up. You're not going to beat the training. You're going to see a lot of vendors rubbing shoulders with the big dogs, whoever they are. So you meet a lot of neat people, a lot of networking, and a lot of good training and food. And a motel with a pool, so bring your swim trunks. However, on their website, it said no pool parties allowed.
Oh.
Bum me out. There's going to be a lot of people there. There's probably going to be some booze involved. And I'm thinking at some point you end up at the pool.
Is there a hot tub?
I don't know. I was more in the pool.
I like the hot tub.
You can only belly flop in a hot tub a few times before they kick you out. That's all I'm saying. So that's if you're going, we'll see you at the pool at TST, even though no pool parties allowed. Perhaps if there's a nice receptionist working at the what is it?
Desk?
The desk. I'm trying to think of the name of the motel.
Oh.
I think it was the Marriott. We can woo her with a Benjamin and be like, we're going to be down here having a little party. You didn't see nothing. I don't know if that'll work or not. That's my plan.
Call it a protest. And you all go down there.
Yeah.
Protest.
Pool in the winter. They're indoors, Shadow Dog. This is a high-tech, upscale motel. Indoor plumbing, indoor pool. Flush toilets, telephones, televisions. Yeah. Two of the amenities. I do not have at home. I do have flush toilet, running water, but no phone or internet or cable. So it's going to be like a little vacation for me. Why do all Americans chafe the skip of their ball caps? Chafe the skip.
Is it this thing?
Oh, is that the skip? We call it the brim in America. Big Clive. And why do they chafe it? I don't know.
Looks cool, man.
Mine get chafed naturally. So perhaps this would be my only assessment. All of my Jeep hats have started out like this. This is the beginning. And as time goes by and wear and frustration and things happen with your hat, they naturally chafe. So I can only assume buying a pre-chafed hat, you're trying to perceive yourself to be working class, just American, Chevrolet, and just have that feel without actually having to have done anything to obtain that. Is would be my guess. I don't know what your guess is, but you see these. How on earth does it get chafed naturally? Well, Big Clive, I think we have two different types of work that we do. You're more circuit boardy, you know, fantastic voice. Fantastic voice. Great beard. I have beard envy. You do this kind of stuff. Me, I'm under stuff. I'm bumping my head, getting it under cars, rolling on the floor like a thing that rolls on the floor. And your hat just gets normal chafage. I believe it's also from, you know, the washing machine, because frankly, after, you know, a few days in my head, they start to stink. I get the stinky hat. And so they're in the washing machine, and you know, they're just you know, they just get beat up, I guess. But I guess if truth be told, it's from the washing machine, okay? That's why it happens. If you see a guy without it, you know he doesn't wash his hat and he stinks, okay? Let's be honest. We're done. We're going to go. I need to get heading home. Big Clive's accent is completely awesome. Don't you agree, Kuba? You do. I see that. I need to go home.
I've got class.
You got class. It's been real. It's been fun, but it ain't been real. I can't finish that sentence because it has been fun. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the support you give us and our channel through Patreon and through PayPal Donate, and just by watching the videos, watching the ads, putting up with all the stuff that happens, the stuff you send in the mail, the swag and all that business. So we thank you. We love each and every one of you right there. And we're going to get rolling. So see you later, guys.